I remember the patch preview actually went up recently, and I know that actually ever since that video came out, I mean I already saw enough Diana in solo queue as is, and now I'm just seeing it even more. So now it just seems like ever since that video came out, just Diana's just been an absolute must ban in nearly every case. But so far though, you have the Vlad, you have the Alistar. I do want to talk a little bit about Diana before we actually go into the game. Have you had a chance to play her a whole lot?
I have had a chance to play her. I was actually going to say, here's the test for whether or not Nick Allen is watching the stream currently. Because Nick Allen, he always thought that Diana was just a really bad champion. Same thing with Rengar. He thought that both of them were terrible. And, I had to prove him wrong. That's actually not true. So we'll see if he comes storming in.
You were saying Rengar was so bad.
No, I didn't. I never said Rengar was bad. Someone else did. I said no. No.
You said in the office.
No, I said that he was average. He's very strong. I thought he was very strong as a jungler. But if he doesn't get farmed early, then he's weak late game. Someone else said he was really bad. I don't remember who said it. Someone else in the office was saying that he's the worst champion ever. But actually, Nick was of the opinion that both Diana and Rengar were completely beyond overpowered. And Diana's been a lot of fun. She's, I've really enjoyed playing her a couple of times. I've got my, I basically, when a new champ comes out, I get them, I play one ranked game with them, get my one win, and then stop playing them. So I haven't played her, Diana, since then. But it was a fun game. The one game.
The one.
It was maybe 2 games.
Hopefully more.
It was 1 or 2 games. I've literally only played her 1 or 2 games, but she was a lot of fun. And Azubu, we saw her in the OGN LoL Championship, or the semifinals with Azubu. That was a really cool match to watch. Right off the bat, though, we have a couple of standard bans, basically normal stuff, but going with the Sejuani. And honestly, I'm trying to remember if I've ever seen Norse Champ play Sejuani, because the only team that I can remember playing Sejuani is Legion. And so Laudamortis, he's played her, but I literally can't think of anyone else.
I've seen Team Green Forest actually.
Is that a Rengar?
For a while.
This might be a Rengar.
It could be a Rengar.
I'm rooting for the Rengar.
Team Green Forest for a while actually was like really intent on that Sejuani jungle with to a limited amount of success, but that time that was a long time ago. That was like IPL4 qualifiers.
And it's weird because they only disbanded like a month or so ago. It really wasn't that long ago, maybe 2 months ago, but it feels like forever. Like
it does.
And reminding me of that, it cuts me deep. It's just a dagger right in my heart. But there we go. I'm guessing there's a Rengar. Actually, you know what? Why do we always say who could it be when we can just scroll down and look? It was not a Rengar. It was where's the blank? Oh, Evelyn. No, that's why. I was being stupid. Never mind. But they will pick up the Diana. They will pick up the Maokai as well.
Ahri, actually.
Oh, yeah. Switching to the Ahri last second. Oh, cool.
So we got the Ahri, got the Maokai. We're just waiting for confirmation from one of the players because we're pretty sure that Evelyn is indeed a Rengar. But we always got to be safe. Always got to make sure I'm not writing it on my notepad just yet because it is still subject to that. But Ahri and Maokai, their first 2 picks. Maokai's been really, really popular lately. I believe most played jungler at Face Off.
Maokai, he has to be up there. It's I'm trying to think if it's not Maokai, who could it be? You know what? At the very least, TSM played him all the time. So, and I know everyone else did. Maokai has been a very popular jungler. Really, the first time we ever really saw Maokai was last year with TSM and the Odd One. But he's had kind of a resurgence recently. He's come back into popularity, and I think he kind of fell off because people recognized that early level ganks didn't tend to work. You could play in competitive play. You could play defensively. It wasn't going to be that big of a threat. But he's kind of come back into play because he's just kind of a tanky, safe pick. He can lock down an enemy carry. The damage reduction is very strong as well.
Blitz and Ezreal being considered here for Meat Playground. Let's go back to this supposed Rengar pick here for unrestricted. Are we going to see him in the jungle, or are we going to see him AP top?
You said Rengar, and for I was staring at the screen and looking at Blitzcrank on Locust, and for some reason I thought you were saying Blitzcrank, even though I heard you say Rengar, and so my first thought was, are we going to see Blitzcrank AP or in the jungle or top? And I went, gosh, I would be so excited if Meat Playground ran AP Blitzcrank. That would just like make my day. Yeah, Rengar, I would expect to see him in the jungle, but, you know, with all that's been said about him as an AP top lane, it sounds like he's just completely overpowered in that role. I can't, you know, really judge yet. I haven't been able to play it or see it.
We may see it here.
You know, from what I can tell, it sounds like a really effective strategy. So that'd be kind of exciting to see. And they go with the Gragas, and I don't know. I guess they're kind of trying to decide what they want to go with.
Yeah.
Maybe could they go Gragas jungle? Oh no. Okay, so Jace, switching it up with Jace. So it seems like it's probably going to be a Rengar jungle, if that is actually the Rengar pick.
Or it could actually be an Evelyn.
Oh, it's a Skarner. That's a boring one.
We got confirmation from Nick Allen here.
Wow,
so
Skarner's an old champion that he doesn't own.
Huh.
That's
Weird.
fine. Skarner's a very strong champion. Has been very popular recently. Is actually, you know, a very safe pick and makes a lot of sense. So we'll see where they go with this. But Jace is just such a fun champ to see, and not many people are playing Jace. Fnatic, so as his Jace has been phenomenal. They've been running, you know, comps with him. A lot of people recognize how strong Jace is in lane. However, they're a little bit concerned that, you know, once you get out of lane, once you get into team fights, they're like, what is his role? Where does he fit? Yeah, he can split push, but as far as, you know, bruisers are concerned, he's not that great. But he has such great versatility. You can play him just as a plain tanky bruiser, and he's incredibly strong. Or you can play him with that range poke, and picking people off outside of fights is really cool too.
Plus, also, that speed buff that he just provides for a team is just so good in so many situations too, especially if you want to actually close the gap and get the engage you want on someone who could really use a lot of speed, i.e. a Skarner. Can actually really help out a lot. Plus, you also have that speed buff coming from Sona.
Well, Sona, Jace, and a Shirelia's, you know, which is just standard build on Skarner. So that will be incredibly strong. I'm kind of curious, you know, how we'll see that, but yeah, so we'll be back in this game shortly. Both teams are definitely looking really exciting. Gragas still get in the plays while you still can. You know, he'll probably be kind of out of play not too long. I was talking with Nick earlier how I kind of feel like you know, the nerf, the 20-second cooldown reduction or 20-second cooldown increase on all of his levels is just going to be so massive that we're not going to see a lot of Gragas anymore. He's still going to be strong. I think he's still going to be strong. I just don't really see him being played that much.
Yeah, which if you're unaware, the Gragas' ult on public beta did get a little bit of a boost. He gets about 20 seconds. I think really what the intent behind that change is to make sure that the ult doesn't come up for a second time in the middle of a team fight, which I'm fine with. I'm okay with.
But it wasn't... I mean, that is the change, but that was kind of what made Gragas viable to an extent, because his early game is incredibly strong, but everyone's always been concerned. The reason that Gragas hasn't seen a lot of play is the fact that late game, if you miss any of your barrels, you're so barrel dependent, and he has long cooldowns. If you miss any of your barrels, or if, you know, the team is split up, they're not all grouped into an AoE, then all of a sudden you're worthless. Like, you just don't have enough damage to take people down. And now having a really long cooldown on his ultimate, it means that he has to save his ultimate. He can't poke with his ultimate. He has to save it just for that opportune moment, and you know, try and pick people up. So I don't know. We'll kind of see how that affects him.
Well, this is exactly why you have a change like that go on public beta, to actually test it out and make sure that you have the right timing on things and make sure everything's fine before you actually roll it out into live. So, granted, it's a 20-second extra on the cooldown.
That's another minion wave.
That is
that's
that's a full minion wave, but it is
almost.
It's beta. It's subject to change.
Yeah.
It may go down to 10, 15, something. It may happen. He may also get increased ratios or decreased ratios on something.
Oh God, no! That would be atrocious.
That's why it's called the beta.
Gragas already has such ridiculous ratios, but yeah, we'll see what they kind of do with that. Then on the other team, Meat Playground, kind of running a common team that we've seen a lot of times from a number of teams, having that Ahri, but also lots of single targets. So you're looking for that single target burst. You can lock people down with Aurelia or Maokai, get a pull with Ahri or Blitzcrank. Those skill shots, always going to be nice.
Yeah, and Aurelia's been coming back into favor, huge lately, and she's always been good top lane. She had that nerf a long time back to her sustain. She's still good though. She's still fantastic. But you know, this is a common matchup that we've seen before: Aurelia versus the Jace.
I'm actually kind of surprised we haven't seen more Aurelia, because back right before face-off, I thought that Aurelia was going to be played in like 100% of all matches, basically, because she's a number of the top lanes were nerfed. She wasn't. She's been, you know, strong for a while. She's one of the strongest laners in the game. You can lane Aurelia versus anyone. She counters out a lot of top laners. And then late game, if you're farmed, you're going to be very tanky, be able to get into the back line and be very strong in that regards. I think it's just people like certain things that provide. Aurelia is kind of bland, so people like champions that are like Jace or like Rumble that provide some unique thing to their team that really fills their team role. And some people just plain don't play her. Like Wicked, he's started playing her again, but for a while he said that his team didn't like it when he played Aurelia. And at Face Off, I was talking with Dyrus, and I was like, Dyrus, why aren't you playing Aurelia? And he's like, oh, I don't or actually let me
go down with some Voctive
I
there.
don't really know how to play Aurelia. I haven't played her much. Yeah, I can play her, but
I don't know. That was a very bad one.
That was
actually
pretty good. That was actually pretty good.
I was doing Civ HD with Nick earlier. Hello, I am Civ HD.
Okay, that's overdoing it a little bit. That's overdoing it a little bit.
No, that's what he sounds like.
But I think it's more of a meta thing because NA, you just don't see her. I think a lot of players in the NA just really think she's boring. But there was that one time in the EU.
Don't listen, Aurelia. You're beautiful. Okay, you can keep talking.
Right before IPL4,
yeah.
Where Aurelia was pretty much a must ban for every game because she provided that much utility, and EU figured her out.
Well, it was also that she had so much regen, and that was before the regen nerf. And she basically, you could never push her out of lane because she had just so much health regen with her ultimate, with her passive on her W. It was completely overpowered, and everyone was playing her, NA and EU. Wicked being, the most famous of all of them, but very strong.
I remember doing the pick ban stats before IPL4, and just against all authority when they were still around, the ban stats that they had on Aurelia just completely tipped the scales. Because I looked at all the tournaments. It was every single game they banned her. They didn't even bother leaving her open for the possibility of first pick. We don't care. We got to get her out of there.
Look how against all authority. Look where that left them.
Yeah, nowhere.
I'm just kidding. No, that was a very strong ban at the time.
It was.
And actually, a number of their members, that's kind of funny. Against All Authority, they kind of, they broke apart, but a number of their members have moved on to bigger, better things. So as with Fnatic, has looked very strong. Yellow Star on SK Gaming, he's looked very strong as well. Melisan. So, definitely kind of working out for them. The only people that it hasn't worked out for are MoMA, and then I can't remember who their jungler was, unless it has worked out for him.
Names, I'm very terrible with names.
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember the Against All Authority jungler. Yeah. But I don't know. He's probably on a team, and he's even like watching the stream. He's like, "How dare you?" Regardless, here we go, guys. We are into this game, and we will be taking a look at it. Definitely some interesting comps. Really aggressive bottom lanes, both teams. The harass from Corki and Sona is just unbelievably strong, and Corki definitely in need of a nerf. Corki is still going to be strong even with the nerfs because he has so much of everything. He has great early game damage. He has great late game damage. He has a lot of survivability. He's so safe and has so much utility and whatnot. Definitely just an all-around monster.
So many ignites. You got the exhausts. Yeah, every single lane is just looking to be straight out aggressive, hunting for those kills, trying to get everything they want. But here we are, game number 1, unrestricted versus me Playground, IPL5 NA Qualifier number 3. This is the round of 16. Best of 3. We'll see where everybody goes from here. And let's take also a look at the quick purchases here. So everyone on Meat Playground did opt for those early boots. Not too uncommon on a Blitzcrank, but when you see that support get those boots, it often means an invade. You got pings coming on, and you got Maokai edging on around, getting the nice little, I believe there's a sapling there in the river, just to get that extra vision. With Blitzcrank, you can actually go on in for the invade and pull that blue buff over the wall. But unrestricted, they are conscious. They are aware of what Blitz is capable of doing, putting the wards down appropriately to make sure that if the Blitz does come around, they will see it. Grab almost coming in onto Gragas. Meanwhile, Ezreal just wants to figure out everyone's power level.
He's just practicing his laser beams.
He's practicing. You gotta get that practice in somehow,
Yeah, but both jugglers will sit back and just, get a nice easy clear. No big deal. Let's not rush anything. Let's not be too hasty. Maokai doesn't usually want to go for invade, so they're going to be safe there. But wait, actually, take that back. Unrestricted, they're going for it. They're all moving. They're grouping.
They're all starting to get into the tri-brush. Jace is the only one not with them. But you'll see NK Inc. in the meantime is actually setting up, not too uncommon for Maokai to actually start with the Wraiths, get those saplings down, take them out real quick, then transition over into blue. But you do have Light Sludge, you do have Locust, not too far behind. Will Ezreal actually get the vision he needs? Hugging the wall, coming in and looking for the invade. Yeah, there you go, Light Sludge. He did see unRestricted actually make their way on in. Maokai should know that his blue's not safe, but Maokai and Ari actually still going in on this. They can get good vision here. Gragas Barrel coming in, going to start off that blue buff, and here comes the Sapling, a little bit extra vision.
And Skarner will be able to take this very easily, but it's going to be a smite battle. Skarner actually doesn't get it. Who got it?
I got it.
Corki got it.
Oh,
so
Corki
picked it up, and Blitzcrank very low is able to get out of there. Zakaru with the flash out. Actually, Maokai is very low as well. We'll get the flash as well. Ari will be able to zone them off, but no one is going to go down. The charm just barely missing Sona. And I saw the smite go off, and I was like, I thought Skarner had it because he got his smite off, and Maokai didn't. However, Corki actually picked it up. So not having the smite and not getting the blue buff is so incredibly detrimental.
You got Maokai actually also getting very low just to the wolves. So actually, both of the junglers are actually going to have to make a full back and recover before they want to finish either one of their paths. But here's the thing. Maokai is level 2, Skarner still level 1. Zachary's going to be significantly further behind after that exchange. But at the plus side, unRestricted, you do have Corki on the blue buff. He's going to be able to spam out all of his abilities and could play very defensively, or he could opt to push. He's got options, he's got choices, but that's the thing though. There's always a threat of Locust from Blitzcrank for those hooks. And you know, a blue buff could look pretty good on Ezreal too.
Yeah, no, it actually would be more beneficial on Ezreal in these early levels. Corki, he's definitely going to take advantage of it, but in the first couple levels, he actually doesn't have enough strength, you know, or abilities to spam. So the cooldown is too long on his Phosphorus Bomb. He doesn't have the damage trading capabilities with Ezreal, so if he walked up and he wanted to spam that mana, he would just very quickly run out. So he's going to try and get whatever, you know, pot shots he can, but it's actually, he's in a dangerous situation. Oh, great damage from Sona, though, and the Sona combo is actually incredibly strong for, you know, harass damage, just bursting him down a little bit, but it should be a pretty even lane regardless of that blue buff.
Yeah, and even though Corki does have somewhat long cooldowns, and the blue buff, remember, it's not just mana, it is the cooldown reduction also, so he can definitely get a few more off than what he normally would. But for the time being, though, Light Sludge and Locust, they're being pretty aggressive, getting their push in. Dunamation does get Twisted Advance. NK coming on in, but no assists from X-Hazard for the moment. You got the hammer swinging them back. Ignite goes in, but X-Hazard going in, forcing the flash out. Dunamation will actually have to retreat back to his own tower, but he's still in pursuit. I think he still wants to get a shot into NK Inc., but will not get the opportunity because Skarner, Zachary coming on in through the jungle. He's actually camping out that Tri-Brush, possibly trying to bait something out from X-Hazard.
Yeah, but the ward down by the mid-river, so Maokai was able to get that out for him. Does help out a lot. Zakaru is chasing him down, though. He's in kind of a dangerous situation, but Gragas is strong enough that he should be able to help him out. He will be able to get out of there easily. And so despite the early disadvantages, Skarner's doing okay because he did have his own blue, so he was able to pick that up. He is coming in behind Ari, though, and Ari is actually very low. Skarner's early game damage is very strong, but has to back off because that charm underneath the tower would be extremely dangerous.
Fortunately enough for Zakaru, though, the charm did not actually bring him within tower range, so he will actually be safe. It will fall on back for now. But Gragas, he's actually very, very low in the mid. Been taking quite a bit of harass, and NK Inc. he knows about it. He's waiting on the side, waiting for his opportunity. Gragas still drinking that potion, trying to get whatever health he can back, but he doesn't. Gragas doesn't have a whole lot of mana left at this point. That's good enough for maybe a barrel, and that's about it.
Yeah, and the early levels is the most dangerous situation for Gragas because he doesn't have quite enough damage or mana in order to successfully farm from range like he can later. As the game progresses, he is one of the safest farmers in the game, can still race and whatnot. But at the early levels, he needs to get up close and personal, and Ari takes advantage of that. With her W, it's, you know, gives her some easy shots, and then also hitting the charm. She can very easily wear him down, but he should be okay. He is playing pretty defensively. He does have to worry, though. If he gets hit with a charm, he will go down.
Yep. And it's not too uncommon for some it's not Greg, it's Greg-Eye, I suppose, to actually start off with the Doran's ring. But Ari is a huge threat. She does have the charm, nice skill shots. It makes a little bit more sense to actually get boots on Gragas first there, just so he's a little bit more elusive. Make sure he doesn't get charmed.
Yeah, and it allows him to move in and out of the minion wave without taking too much harass. If he didn't have the boots, and actually Ari jumping in, misses the charm, though Pobelter is going for it with the ignite as well, is able to back out of there, so a couple more ticks will be able to pick that up. With the boots, if he didn't have the boots and Ari did, then every single time he would try and walk in to kill a minion just to last hit, then Ari would be able to attack him and chase him down with her increased speed. Dude, Nation jumping onto Aurelia there. It is actually a really even match, and we've seen it before a number of times with Jace versus Aurelia. A lot of it comes down to skill.
unRestricted getting whatever farm he can, and he'll be pushing up that lane, trying to deny some of the farm for Xhazard, but fortunately enough, you do have me player with a nice wave coming near to the top lane. Should be able to contest with that Locust with a nice grab down onto the Corki, but the Valkyrie away is exhausted and ignited, but we'll see if he's actually going to be able to get to safety with this one. He's drinking that potion, and you do have something for heals. Granted, Light Sludge is also very low, but Blitz unfortunately doesn't heal. That's not usually what he does.
Yeah, and they actually didn't burn any summoners for Corki, so that actually worked out in their favor. But the Valkyrie in, trying to pick up Light Sludge. He is very low. I think the Ignite has him, and he does go down. Skarner and Gragas are coming in behind Locust here, so he's going to be able to get the barrel out, knocking him against the tower. He does have to worry about that shield. They haven't procced it yet, and Gragas is tanking this. He's actually hoping Corki can get in, so they do pick up that kill. In the meantime, both Maokai and Ari are chasing down Skarner. He's trying to get out of there, but both Corki and Gragas are trapped, and Corki sitting up there, the tricky little, trickster, he's going to be sitting in the minion wave and just easily getting out as they don't know where he is.
Easy slams over the ridge just to get the safety into the river, but again, getting hugely chunked out. Zakaru may actually just be able to make it. The sapling will not get what he wants. A nice Q coming in from Sona will finish off the kill onto the Maokai. And I wish Pobelter doubled back and went back into the Tri-Brush, because Valiant was just dead. He would have been dead if they just walked on over and just an orb would have done it. But unfortunately, Pobelter, me Playground, they wanted the big kills. They saw a nice little pack of 3 champs. They wanted a little bit more. They could have settled for 1. They didn't get what they wanted.
To be fair, they didn't know where Corki was, and there wasn't any ward coverage. They saw the champions in front of them. They didn't know if maybe Corki had flashed over the wall or something to get out of there sooner. They didn't quite, maybe follow the fight exactly. And so it's kind of like, do you follow someone that you don't know and you have maybe an inkling of where he is? Maybe if you run down there, he's going to Valkyrie over the wall, and now all of a sudden they're trapped over the wall and they don't have anything to do? Or do you chase down the low health people that are right in front of you? And it just didn't work out for them. So 3-1 right now for unRestricted, despite the early aggression from Meat Playground and the mobility from Ari. We'll kind of see how they turn it around, but Ari is getting that point where she's incredibly strong, despite the fact that she's not, getting quite the kills that she would like to.
Zakaru visiting once again to the bot lane with an Oracles in tow, actually. Going to be great, taking care of that ward down the bot. Will not be grabbed by Locust, and will actually just retreat, double on back, and may actually, in a very sneaky manner, go down to the bot brush, possibly for a grab. He does have the Impale. He is level 6. He can get that if he wants. Is waiting for bot lane to go ahead and get their push on. Meanwhile, unRestricted doing a pretty good job pushing it as well, but easy. It's not so much as easy as I think he would have hoped here in the mid lane against Pobelter.
Yeah, Pobelter is pushing extremely aggressively, and Gragas can usually counter push pretty successfully, but he doesn't have the blue currently. Zakaru is sitting in the bottom lane, hoping that his team can maybe bait it in, or he can offer a counter gank. If NK Inc. comes in from the enemy team and tries to get off a gank, then he can try and defend against that. He is moving up into the next bush. There are no wards there, so they don't recognize he's up here. So we'll see how that progresses. But Pobelter so far, having the blue buff advantage over Gragas, he's been able to push him into the tower, which is allowing him to be extremely aggressive. And actually, Gragas throwing the barrel off, getting Pobelter underneath the turret. He does have to ult to get out of there. Gragas is pretty low, but it forces Pobelter to waste his ultimate, and he is in a dangerous situation. The poke from Skarner actually will pull Zakaru back underneath the turret. The ultimate as well from Ezreal, along with the Sona, trying to counter that out, but they can't quite get the damage on the Light Sludge. He will have to back out of here, but NK Inc., he wants another kill. If he can just get in range for another Twisted Advance, he will be able to grab it.
Locust got very low in that exchange, and we'll check out top lane in just a second. NK Inc. wants a little bit more, wants the Twisted Advance, but will not get it. Time to rewind. We did have mid lane actually give you quite a bit of action. Pobelter, nice with the charm, does get all the damage onto Easy. The Ignite will actually finish him, but Jace coming on in, looking to finish off Pobelter. So kill for kill, it's a little bit of an advantage there for unRestricted because you do have the +1 assist in that exchange.
Yeah, they were able to grab that fairly easily, but We'll be getting back to this shortly, and Jace will be able to go back up top. Jace versus Aurelia, it is a fairly even matchup because it's actually interesting that Jace, starting at level 7, can just clear those range minion waves with a single burst of his Q. So he's been able to counter out some of the push from Aurelia, but Aurelia's frontline damage is actually extremely strong. So and Jace doesn't really have enough damage to wear her down with the regen that she has. So it's kind of a dangerous situation. So we'll see, once we get back into this, how everything's progressing. But definitely, some interesting strategies from both teams so far.
Yep. I'm also noticing the item builds right here from Pobelter, from Easy, and I think it really speaks to how far Pobelter feels and is actually ahead, because he's got the Kage's Lucky Pick. He's looking to build into that DFG for all that burst. In the meantime, also getting the GP10 gold in the process. While Easy just stacking those Doran's rings, just trying to get the health, just trying to get the regens, trying to stay relevant at his best. But it's too much of a disadvantage here. Pobelter's had a constant lead on Easy nearly the entire game so far.
Yeah, he's been doing a really nice job. 30 CS ahead,
plus
just
2
a little
kills.
bit under that. But yeah, with the gold per 10, it has been a really nice job. Aurelia actually chasing down Dudimation, and he's in a dangerous situation here. He will be able to escape with his E and knocking away X-Hazard, so he should be okay. He's kind of fortunate, though, that Pobelter didn't decide to join the fight and come over there. Pobelter's ultimate was up. They maybe could have pinched him in the turret, or sorry, in the river, and worn him down, but he will be okay. It is currently basically a dead even game, so we'll see how both teams try and build a lead for themselves.
Also keep in mind that Dudimation, after that last exchange in the mid, is bringing a blue buff with him to the top lane. Easy has his own too, but if he's not careful, he may just give it right back to Pobelter. That'd be a very unfortunate situation. But Zakaru looking to be in bot once again. It didn't quite work out last time. We'll give it a second shot. We'll give it one more try before he actually completely shuts off, and actually he's going to go ahead and change his mind, double on back, grab the small golems. You do have pings going down onto Pobelter, looking for the invade and the Wraith Seal. Easy knows. That's the thing, Unrestricted knows about it. They can't do anything about it.
Yeah, he actually doesn't have great ward coverage at this point, but the ward, having the vision at his own, at the mid, you kind of have to expect it. And so just the pressure that Pobelter's been able to put on the lane has been very strong. Jace is coming in, though. He's trying to get some quick damage, actually flashing over to the other side, trying to get the knockback. Wasn't able to get it. The Gragas ultimate as well wasn't able to connect. So Pobelter burns the ultimate, but is able to survive. So we'll defend against some of that pressure.
And meanwhile, bot lane, you got the Sonal coming out in. Locust will actually go down in process, and that's going to be a 1v1 here between the AD carries. He got Valiant, getting some extra flames down, and the double kill will actually be earned for the Corki. Nice use of the Valkyrie mid-fight just for the extra AoE from the flames from the trail. Remember, that thing does damage. It's not just an escape tool. You can actually hurt somebody with it.
Yeah, it's also, it was able to allow him to dodge one of Ezreal's abilities. So, he can use that for that kind of mobility. Now they group up, they are able to grab the dragon, and top tower does go down to Aurelia. Yep. So, right now, really nice early advantages for Unrestricted, bullying around Meat Playground a little bit, but it is still a very even game.
Yep, so Aurelia, X-Hazard, with all this time, well, the first time Dudimation went down to mid lane, it's okay, it's fine. He got his kill, he got the creeps that he would have lost. He got creeps that he normally would have lost because of leaving the lane in the first place. But the second time around, you lose the tower straight out. You got so much pressure coming in from X-Hazard there in the top lane, and you didn't get the you didn't get the kill from Dudimation. Granted, you did get the dragon, he helped out a little bit, but you didn't necessarily need to be there for it. Pobelter just a little bit too mobile, did not get that kill, and that mid-tier 1 is just, you can just tap that thing and it'll go down.
Yeah, it is very low at this point. X-Hazard dueling with Dudimation. He's trying to get over the wall. He will be able to use his flash to throw off the stun, and then getting out of there. Dudimation actually going for the long range. Oh, not quite enough damage.
I forgot how far that thing goes.
Yeah, it's always cool to see someone snipe someone.
Jeez. I kind of wish he got that one, just so he'd actually have that for the highlight reel. Is good. But the flash and bail coming on in from Zakaru down mid lane to Pobelter, and actually just the turret shot followed him the long way around, was not able to get out of that one. Nice instincts there from Skarner in mid.
Yeah, really nice job. And the flash into the Skarner ultimate is incredibly difficult to get away with. get away from. And actually, the way the ability is designed, a lot of times, even if someone has a flash, or in this case, a dash ability like Ahri's, if you throw off your ultimate, once the animation starts, it's going to connect. And so you'll pull people back from flashes. Easy, not quite backing off in time, does throw off a flash on his own, but Zachary coming back in with the ultimate as well. NK Inc. is very low. Skarner will be able to
Nice.
just barely chase him down. Easy does go down as well, though, so Xhazard, he is able to pick up that blue buff. But Skarner ult, if you grab someone as they're flashing, it actually pulls them back. So a lot of times you'll see someone like flash away and then get pulled back by the Skarner ult.
Kind of like almost a little bit like Garen ult too, because you get the target, it's mid animation, they flash away, get out. Otherwise, they're still gonna take it.
Yeah,
so.
The worst is Singed and Volibear. They do it as well. But Aurelia actually diving onto Dude I'm Asian, trying to get back to the tower. Singed or Volibear, if you can target someone such that if you get your animation off and then they flash, it'll look like they flashed, and then you toss them behind you, even when they're not anywhere near you. Like they won't be standing near you, and then all of a sudden they jump a huge distance.
I remember there's a video a while back of someone teleporting somewhere, and they just get flipped across the map, and I found that so amusing. I wonder if that's actually still in the game. I'd love to know that.
Yeah, I doubt it. Those bugs are usually out of there pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, Ahri is making her way down the bottom lane, and Light Sludge is going to be able to get some nice damage on it. And with Pobelter coming down, they should be able to grab this fairly easily. Aurelia and Maokai, they have control of the top 2 lanes, so that's going to be fine. But getting some really aggressive pushing going. It is only 2-1 right now, but they also have the damage in the bottom lane, so they're very close to getting all 3 outer turrets.
You do have the Gragas grabbing the blue buff. He's going to be returning that to whatever shambles are left of the mid lane. But meanwhile, you do have a 4-man push here from unRestricted, trying to get a little bit of payback. You do have Maokai in the mid. You do have Ahri now Vision right by unRestricted's Wraiths. And Easy trying to get whatever damage he can, trying to outsteal the Wraiths. He does get it this time around. Like Pobelters, I'll get you next time with those. I'll get those Wraiths.
And then you need a little cackling dog next to you.
But she's a fox.
Oh, okay. So is she the cackling dog?
Could be.
Okay.
Could be.
Yeah, but really nice job. And Gragas, recognizing that. Ahri actually is very easy to steal race with, but doesn't have enough damage in any of her 1 abilities to take it. So just really nice timing from Gragas, recognizing that he can jump in there. And we'll kind of see how they progress. Ahri does have a DFG. Gragas is going that way as well, going with 3 Dorans, actually. So that's incredibly strong early on in the game. It will give him a little bit more survivability, so he can, not have to worry about Ahri killing him quite as easily. He could have maybe gotten the same if he had gone with some MR and gone towards the Abyssal route. But we'll have to see how that'll work out for him. It will be very strong early. It's just that he's not quite getting into his late item builds as soon as you would like to.
But remember that Easy was kind of forced into the situation of buying all those Dorans, because for the longest time, Pobelter had 2 kills to no kills on the Gragas. It was just such a huge monetary advantage, such a huge skill advantage, because remember for most of the game that Ahri's been actually up a level onto the Gragas. Now it's equalized, but now that Easy's actually earned his way back up, we're seeing that the Doran's rings not going to be doing as much now as they were before. They did keep him in the game. It's just that's the problem. And this problem isn't going to be lasting for long. It's just you have one character with a DFG and the other doesn't.
Yeah, and right now Xhazard is jumping on the Dude I'm Asian. He does have his flash up, so he's going to use it to get over that wall, but the flash from Xhazard, and with that red buff, he should be able to chase him down. Ahri, in the meantime, was pressured by Skarner and Gragas, but Xhazard picks up the kill. Oh, the Gragas ultimate just barely surviving. The Skarner pull helping him get out of there, and now he's in the middle of the team. Ahri couldn't quite clear the distance, but they're turning onto them, and Xhazard doesn't take quite enough damage. The long-range snipe from Jace, can he maybe pick it up? Zachary is escaping, so he's trying to get back in there. Jace does get out of there, so he is able to recall, and Aurelia will back out as well, but a nice exchange for Meat Playground. Yeah,
sacrifice the fat guy. I mean, he's died way too much. He's not worth as much. Might better him go down than the Jace, which actually makes a lot of sense. But still not.
I'm sure that was not in their game plan.
That was not in their game plan.
They weren't thinking that as they were dying. But it did work out well.
You get in there easy, and you're gonna die, and you're gonna do like a champ. No, but it's better for Gragas to die than the Jace in a situation like that, because Gragas has died so many times. It's not the most ideal of situations, but hey, you take what you get. But DFG, though, now finally built on the Gragas, he's going to have a little bit more damage and can actually get in even more burst when he does go in.
Oh, but Locust is caught out of position. They don't see him yet, so it seems that he's going to be okay. unRestricted trying to force an engage here. He will actually maybe jump over to the blue. He doesn't have his range, so you can actually, that's kind of a neat trick, but actually they do have the ward. They catch out NK Inc. He will drop very quickly.
Nice.
So they will transition over to the blue. The dragon is up as well, and they're in a really nice situation to take it.
By the way, Meat Playground, your blue is warded. You should know that now. Locust is still a little bit separated from the team, but one nice hook can make things really good for Meat Playground. There it is, the hook coming in onto Jason ult coming down onto the Ari. She will melt immediately. Ezreal ult gonna be going down, and then a full retreat will shift away. Locust is caught. Did he burn his flash? I think that was a failed flash there.
He did fail the flash, but unRestricted turning it around the next hazard. He's trying to get in there. They all are very low. Light Sludge will go down. No, just
Norse.
barely. Can he pick up Norse Champ? He does get that kill. And unRestricted, he's going to go for the long range. If he can get it over the wall, once he changes back to range, I want to see this. I want to see Light Sludge go down. There it is, just barely picking it up.
Very
so he's
well
able
done.
to grab that. Aurelia jumping back in actually is able to grab Gragas, but then Valiant turning around onto him, and they are all very low. Maokai could probably stop this dragon attempt.
Yeah, I'm not sure why unRestricted is even bothering to do this. They've already won the series. They've won the exchange of flash. The twist advance coming down in. The ult should actually is not enough damage yet. A sapling. Just land the sapling from the 3-point line. It doesn't even need to explode. There we go. Shut down coming in from NK Inc.
Yeah, and Zakaru coming in as well is very low, but unRestricted coming around the backside will jump onto him. Can he get the knockback underneath the turret? Not quite enough, but he has the damage to chase him down. He does throw off of the knockoff. He did hit
the
a stage
sapling's
proc,
still
though,
there. Skarner,
with that
don't do it.
Trinity Force, but Blitzcrank, oh, the hook just barely not hitting, and unRestricted just one more attack. Oh, the
Nice.
range Q will pick him up. Ari is coming in as well, and so unRestricted has to back out of there, just barely out of range of Pobelter. Pobelter's ultimate will be up very shortly, and he wants this kill. 3, 2, 1, it is up, and he's going in for it. There's the kill. Can he get Zakaru as well? He's underneath the turret, and he actually doesn't see him in that brush, but try and pick up Norse Champ, the barrel from Gragas, and it's a little bit of a duel going on now.
Nice. DFG coming in, and the belly slam will be more than enough for Easy to pick up that kill. And wonderful jukes coming in from Norse Champ to prevent being killed. Those are just absolutely beautiful. But among all that, though, you will have Meat Playground grabbing up the dragon. Sona was a little bit too curious. Ezreal ult gonna go ahead and finish that one off. Skarner, Gragas, Corki, they all are nearby. This just feels like it's just been one really, really long team fight, it seems. It's just endless streams.
One really long team fight as people just keep on respawning, and they decide that they want to pick up a couple of kills, and they trade a 1-for-1.
Somebody go top lane, man. Just like there's too much action going down here. We need to spread out the love.
Yeah, so Jason's going to go up there. He's going to pick up some of that farm. Valiant will have to watch out that Locust doesn't hit a pull on him, but Zakaru is here to help him out as well. Aurelia jumping in,
Nice.
the pullback underneath the turret, and X Hazard will drop very, very quickly, but there's the pull on the Valiant, and Light Sludge is able to pick it up, and X Hazard actually able to get out of there. Had enough regen with his ultimate to survive.
Just barely enough. And, you know, 1 or 2 more auto attacks, some skills would have been able to finish the job, but fortunately enough, that is not the case. And there's just massive gold swings going on throughout the past, like, 3-4 minutes, but we're pretty much back to where we started.
Yeah,
it's 34K and change for both teams, and we're back in an even game.
And now this is a really dangerous situation for unRestricted because they had some nice plays early on in the game. They're ahead in kills because of the early, fights that they were able to have. Pobelter pressuring the mid lane, but NK Inc. actually walking into unRestricted and will drop very, very quickly. But he has Aurelia on his side if he can get out of there. Cannot, and so unRestricted picks up the kill. But the danger for unRestricted is we've seen this from Meat Playground in the past where maybe they kind of struggle a little bit in their early portion of the game, but once they come back out, their late game is actually very strong. Pobelter hits the charm though. He's going in for the kill. The body slam, one more ultimate, barely, just grabbing unRestricted as he dies. And so it is an even exchange, but they are going for Gragas as well.
Easy does get pulled, but Zakaru is not too far behind. He does not have the Impale quite yet, but he can get the slows on Locust. He can still get all that damage, and yes, the barrel will be more than enough. All 4 remaining members of unRestricted getting a piece of that one. You have a nice little decent wave here in the mid. Everyone's a little bit split from Meat Playground, but an Ezreal, that's nothing that can't take care of. But you do have the flash. The Impale is back up. Light Sludge will also be caught in the stun from Sona, and a Corki missile will be more enough to finish that job. X-Hazard looking to still defend this tier 1. You got Corki trying to get whatever damage he can on the turret while everybody else is distracted. 1 or 2 more shots just ticked out the damn turret. There you go.
Yeah, so they were able to grab that. They will back off. Unrestricted, it helps pull them back in. They're 2K gold ahead now. But as I was saying, Meat Playground, they have shown in the past that we've seen a couple of matches where they've started off behind and been able to pull out a win in the end. They have looked very strong near the ends of the games. And they have to consider the fact that they have Sona and Gragas. Sona will scale very well as the game progresses. Gragas, he's at that point in the game where this is like where he needs to win. He needs to be able to stomp some people right now. And he's going up against a tanky team with 2 survivable AP carries. Both Ahri and Ezreal will be able to get away from his barrels, won't be that vulnerable to it. And then the rest of the team with the Maokai ultimate will just be so tanky that they don't necessarily have to worry about it. So if they can't win some big fights with that Gragas ultimate shortly, then that could really turn against them.
And Gragas is not only has he caught up to the Ahri, he's actually now surpassed. They both have the same amount of kills, they both have the same amount of deaths, but look at the difference between Pobelter and Easy. Easy has 6 assists to his name. Pobelter, not as much of a team player at this point. Plus, you now also have a little bit of deviation in builds. You have Pobelter building the Hourglass, looking to be a little more defensive, but Easy, the right choice, the death cap, wants pure absolute damage. And now at this point, when it's going to be coming down to burst, it looks like Easy's actually going to be the one in the driver's seat now.
Yeah, Ezreal's damage at this point is very, very high. X-Hazard is able to pick up that turret. But, Corgi's innate damage is actually a little bit higher than Ezreal's right now. Ezreal has that burst, like you said, but the sustained damage with the armor shred and then also the true damage passive is incredibly strong. X-Hazard actually kind of getting caught off, and if Dunamation can get another phage proc, the team could maybe group up on him, but they will back off.
Locust there in the enemy jungle with Light Sludge, trying to camp something out, trying to get their opportunities. But you see here, Meat Playground actually moving as a team around enemy blue buff, trying to catch hopefully someone who should not be definitely in that part of the jungle right now. You do also have unrestricted. They're looking to, they did go back, they did buy. They're looking to just once again get their push. Trinity Force and Bloodthirster on the Corki does quite a bit of damage. GA onto Jace. He's been a big part of all these team fights, but you also have a GA on Aurelia. It has begun. The revives will be coming shortly.
Yeah, and a lot of it just works so well because Aurelia wants to be incredibly aggressive, and if Aurelia goes down very quickly to the Gragas ultimate and Sona ultimate, Aurelia will have the revive and be very safe there. They are proccing the Baron, trying to bait him out. There are no wards in the meantime, so they will be safe, but actually Skarner coming in for NK, trying to force a fight.
Yes, he does get the impale onto the Maokai, will be dragging the rest of the team and melts immediately, and somehow Locust does not get a grab on anyone. That kind of baffles me, but that is a jungler down, the Maokai down.
It's kind of beneficial, though, for him not to get a grab when he was the only one there. His team wasn't, and it was a 5v4 as it was.
You do now have Unrestricted starting up onto the Baron. Is not going down terribly fast, but you do have Easy waiting in the bush. X-Hazard will find him there, does take the slow to the face. He does have the barrel, he does have quite a bit of damage. Pobelter coming on in with the ult, trying to get as much damage as possible. Locust Zone to the backline, trying to retreat. You have the GA procking down on Dunamation. He will be back in just a moment. And now you have Aurelia looking for the revive, but will be surrounded by Unrestricted, waiting for, and Light Sludge getting down as much damage as he can while everyone's laying in wait. Zakruk now coming on in, looking for the charge. Ezreal and Blitzcrank are the only ones here to defend, but Maokai is actually back up. He does have the move 5 boots. He should be back soon, but double kill coming for Ez. In the meantime, Unrestricted, everyone retreating, everyone very low.
Yeah, Light Sludge actually almost able to get that. The body slam from Easy, able to pick up Blitzcrank, so they will back off. Dunamation is very low, trying to poke out at Light Sludge. He wants to bait him in. The Maokai Twisted Advance. Easy actually gets over the wall as the Twisted Advance hits, which is a very unusual, mechanics, because usually Twisted Advance will follow, or you'll be able to get in there, but NK Inc., he will go down very quickly, getting a little bit hasty there, thinking they had left. So it's unusual because the timing for it is just extraordinary, because normally Maokai's Twisted Advance will follow a target. You know what? Maybe he can't follow targets that he doesn't have vision of.
Yeah, because sometimes you'll be in the middle of a Twisted Advance animation. Someone walks into a bush or around a corner, and sometimes you'll actually see the animation stop.
Yeah, that is it. It's he can't follow people through shadows. So that's it. But actually, Pobelter, just
nice.
dodging off the barrel. Pobelter just wrecking easy here, and the barrel is sitting idly by, won't be able to get off any damage. Really nice job. If he can get away, but he doesn't quite have the distance. The speed up from Dude I'm Asian should be okay. The hook back, and Zakaru will be pretty low. Lucas trying to protect him. Dude I'm Asian trying to get in there, and Pobelter, it seems, has barely lived. Oh, the long-range Q, just not able to grab it, but the rocket does.
Corki there following up where Jace cannot capitalize. That is a 1 for 2 there back in the mid. Ward's going down in the middle of the lane. Unrestricted, they want the coverage when they go down for this dragon here. As you know, the minions, they do provide great coverage, but when you're at this point in the game, they're not going to give you the vision that you'd like in the middle of the lane. Dragon should go down very quickly. Killing time, wait for Gragas to come back. And you know what? Blitz and Ahri, they're not going to be back for just a little while longer. You do have the vision coming from Maokai with that sapling. Oh crap, they took Dragon. Now what do? Might as well push mid.
Yeah, so you know, really nice gold advantages for Unrestricted, but nothing devastating at this point for Meat Playground. They do have to worry about the fact that Unrestricted's AoE is just so obnoxiously strong.
Oh, yeah.
But that last fight, it was a disorganized fight. They didn't have all of their members there. It was just kind of a slow thing. They were trying to wear people down. So with that in regards, it actually worked out pretty well for them. They didn't fall that far behind. They didn't lose that Baron. In the meantime, though, Jace and Skarner are both chasing down X-Hazard, and it seems they should be able to pick him up. The hook back along with the pull on Skarner, and he actually is in a really dangerous situation. Along with those slows, will seem to go down, actually using his flash.
Wow.
So he was actually trying to, if you hit the flash here, get over the wall, and it'll push you a little bit further than the actual range of the flash, but not quite able to hit it.
I'm wondering if we should actually have like an error scorecard here, you know, for League of Legends.
That's actually a really good idea.
That's a really good idea, because there's been quite a few fail flashes actually this game. That's just panic states, people not really clearing the gaps where they need to. But yeah, that's an idea for another time. Get the oracles in the pit, clearing out the vision from Meat Playground, the Gragas barrels, keeping the Ezreal away. A little bit of vision coming from NK Inc. I also want to know how many oracles that the Meat Playground has had to rebuy actually after all these exchanges. It's got to be a pretty high number.
Yeah, it's 1 or 2, so that really puts a little pit in Maokai's gold satchel, his purse.
His Gucci purse.
Yeah, we'll see how that kind of affects them. He doesn't really need that much gold, but it does factor into how significantly far they're behind right now. Skarner holding the point, doesn't have a lot of mana, but they are very strong at this point, and trying to chase down Pobelter. He will get the dash out, just barely surviving. Doesn't have to worry about that Gragas barrel, and does get out of there.
Doesn't have to worry about the Skarner though, because he impales right back up. Pobelter's going to be melting right in the middle of the fight. X-Hazard a little bit too far out. We're really way further out than he wants to be. You get Twisted Advance coming in from Maokai, but once again, middle of the team, you're going to die. Locust looking for the retreat, but the missiles coming in from Corki. There's going to be a lot of damage while they're walking away. 2 for free, and that the long distance flames coming from Jace still. And granted, Unrestricted did win that fight. They are still extremely low. They do have to back, they do have to heal, and they can buy. And you also notice right now, Valiant, he's got that chain vest. He's actually looking for the team's second Guardian Angel.
Yeah, so he is incredibly strong at this point. All of them are 12,000 gold onto Corki, 11,000 on Ezreal. That play by Pobelter just, I don't know, boggles my mind. And I think his thought process was that he was almost out of mana. He was, out of his abilities, or they're on cooldown. And so he kind of just wanted to make Skarner waste his ultimate and bait a fight in. But I don't know, it was just a weird fighting situation because they're behind. He was instantly killing himself, which means that Ezreal won't be able to poke him down quite by himself. So very unusual situation. But yeah, Unrestricted, they're able to take advantage of that. And at this point, they're just so strong and so tanky. They should be able to pressure the Baron fairly easily. They don't have to worry about taking too much damage that might throw them behind in a fight.
You have the second GA for the team now built on the Corki of Unrestricted. You have a QSS actually built there on the Light Sludge for Meat Playground. Is very afraid of those stuns coming in from Sona Pobel to try and get whatever damage he can. But even then, the huge barrel bring him actually down to half. Jace singling out Ezreal from the rest of the team, flashing over the wall, forcing flashes in response. But it looks like Dunimation has gotten a little bit too over his head here, trying to 4v1 the team, but his GA is actually still up, killing time for Skarner to come on in. Flashing into shutdown from Ezreal, gonna be killing that Jace. X-Hazard also behind GA. Now, Revive coming from Valiant. Will he be able to get out of this one? I don't think so. No, to shut down, he is surrounded.
Yes, actually, really nice play from Meat Playground. And it was kind of an unusual fight, but they were able to use their kiting their advantage. Oh, that barrel was really close to hitting Cobelter. And he's borderline close enough to die. I don't think he would have died, but it was pretty close.
Waiting for that ult to come back up, actually.
Yeah, but they were, they did get very low in that fight, but they were able to kite them very effectively, and as a result, they were able to focus them down one-on-one, and it was basically 4v1 with Jace. Maokai went into the middle of the team and was able to separate them out, and then they were pretty safe. They are going for this blue, though, and Blitzcrank is very low. X-Hazard maybe getting caught off. They will back off. Don't get the Skarner hook. It is down on cooldown, so they will be able to grab that. The hook not hitting on easy, though. That would have picked him up very easily. But yeah, so really nice job. Well, I was thinking of Ezreal, but really nice job for Meat Playground to win that fight.
Yeah, the biggest part about that fight though is that Meat Playground managed to kill off both of unRestricted's Guardians Angels, both of them.
Yeah, that's absolutely huge.
And Aurelia's is actually still back up, I believe.
Yeah, Aurelia's didn't go down in that previous fight. Ezreal doesn't have his currently, but it will be up shortly. Oh, no, he never bought one.
Yeah, he went for the QSS.
So, yeah, it's, that's definitely going to be a huge advantage for them. Right now, it's just defensive stats, so it's such a almost waste of gold at this point for that GA. But it's still obviously very strong, but they want to wait until that's going to be up again. It probably doesn't have that much time, actually. It's at like 2 minutes left. So if they can stall for a little bit, and with their strength, they should be okay. But that's 2 minutes that they wanted to pressure their advantages, that they wanted to, continue driving the nail home, and just, I don't know, shutting the coffin on Meat Playground that they can't do right now.
That's 2 minutes that Meat Playground could actually use to gain an advantage and actually swoop on in and grab the Baron if they have the proper vision they need onto unRestricted. And you're still consistently seeing Meat Playground hovering around the mid, hovering around the Baron, and they can actually swoop on in and grab Dragon. And they know unRestricted, they have Baron pretty well covered. Dragon, it becomes kind of like a lost objective after like the 25-30 minute mark. It's just, bot lane, it's just really no man's land. There's really very little coverage. You can go on, swoop to Dragon pretty easy. It's still good gold this far into the game.
Well, and also before all of your champions hit level 18, you still get the XP boost. So that's huge.
That is absolutely huge, and now you have Meat Playground with that little bit extra gold in their pocket. It's still a very close game, and as you start edging into the late game, these small leads, 2, 3, 4K, everyone starts hitting 18. Everyone starts getting closer to their end game item builds, and the gold lead really starts to become a minimal thing. We're not quite there yet, but we're gonna be there soon.
Yeah, no, it is getting to that point in the game. Sorry about that, guys, but we'll be taking a look at this. Everyone's actually, are they going back? There's no ward coverage on them currently. And right now, actually, because unRestricted, they're kind of scared at the moment. They don't want to force a fight. But it seems they are kind of moving up just to check on that Baron. So yeah, they don't recognize that they've gone back. Maokai, Aurelia, and Ari are still holding point. Said a couple of their members can buy items.
Now you see that unRestricted they're apprehensive here, and rightly so. They saw Meat Playground go back in through the river. They saw them cross the ward, but that side river brush was not warded. They're not quite sure if they're still there camping, if they've recalled, if they're what. So it's a bit of a risk for them to actually go on in just blindly and hope that they're not there. Try and go make a push over there for the Baron. Nice wave clear from Ezreal is going to keep bot lane pushed just for a little while longer. Is going to keep the pressure off of their bot turret as well. So that way, if they go and pressure that Baron, the lane will naturally push on a little bit further. So if they do grab the Baron, they can just then make a point, go down bot, the wave is already pushed.
Yeah, I'm actually seeing... It does seem that it's a pretty even lane, so no momentum swing in either team's favor. So that's not really going to factor too much into the strategy. Sometimes if you can get a push in that bottom lane, it might be able to pressure a tower and force someone away, but won't be that much of an issue. They are just kind of sitting mid. They do have the oracles onto Maokai, so they do get some nice map coverage. Oh, they just barely missed that ward, and so the vision range for the oracles is actually slightly less than your actual vision range, and so NK Inc. just barely walking past that ward and doesn't see it, but the ward does see him. So that's kind of an interesting, interaction there. So they recognize that actually all of Meat Playground is sitting in this bush. Even if they don't have vision of them, they know they're sitting in one of the bushes, and they know that they're trying to bait them out. If
unRestricted was actually camped out over by the blue buff, they could have gotten in a really nice camp, a really nice kill, but that unfortunately is not the case. You do have Scar going straight on in, wants to get some damage, but he will be the sacrificial lamb coming in. Gragas and Blitz are also down. X-Hazard right out in front, trying to chunk out that Corki. Does pop his freshly popped GA, but once again, he will be cornered, not going to be going anywhere. Sona does get caught behind. X-Hazard going to finish off that kill, and Jace, alone to his own devices in the jungle, had to go the long way for the retreat, and there's no way that he could try and really contest this. He could try for a lucky shot on Baron with no vision, but that's a hope and pray shot right there.
And they could have waited for Jace's Q to be back up, because it gives you vision for a slight period of time. But getting a little bit hasty, Skarner rushes in, which isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world, though. I mean, it sucks losing any member that quickly. But the big blow was Gragas following up. And Easy, I think they were scared. They panicked. They thought that maybe Meat Playground had gone for that Baron. The ward had just died, so they didn't have vision currently. And I think they thought that Meat Playground, immediately after their last poke, ran straight at the Baron. And that's why Gragas was caught, because there's no reason that Gragas should have been caught otherwise. He should have had a perfect ultimate, actually, because they're all grouped up in this tiny little AoE, and he didn't get it off. He didn't get off his ultimate. So Meat Playground was able to turn it around very easily, even though, and then Pobelter, he actually dove right in the middle of the team to force them to turn back and fight him. And so they think for a second, oh, kill Ari, we can maybe turn this around, but then he Zonias and just baits them in nicely.
And that is the choice you make when you try, either for the offensive item or the defensive. And even then, in fights before, Pobelter bought that Zonias as the second main item. So he's looking to make sure that if he's going to be going for that burst, he wants to be safe. This entire game, the gold has been very even. It's been a very even game. Now we're at 62 and some change, but Meat Playground, they do have the Baron. They're going to have it still for the next 3 minutes. They can make huge pushes in any lane they want, grab more objectives, and really carve out a good lead for themselves.
And there's a lot of damage at this point in the game. Everyone is incredibly farmed. Gragas and Ari, they both have over 600 ability power. Actually, Gragas close to 600. Ari's close to 700. And then Ezreal and Corki, they have damage out the wazoo. They're so incredibly farmed at this point. So really, the next fight could almost win it. The benefit for Meat Playground having that Baron buff, they want to try and get all the lanes pushing, and so Pobelter actually goes bottom. He gets the lane pushing. By keeping all the lanes pushed, they know that if they win a fight, they're going to be able to take a big advantage. If they don't, then it's not going to hurt them that much. There is a ward in the jungle, though, so they do recognize they're out of position. The body slam from Gragas, barely able to get out of there.
That Foxfire just doing so much damage. Bringing Gragas actually nearly down to half just on that one ability alone. I hate to see what Pobelter's entire combo would do to an unknowing Gragas, just how quickly he just go from 100 to 0. And that's to have that kind of threat still at this far into the game, at 43 minutes, to still be able to 100 to 0 someone.
Yeah,
that's just mean.
Yeah, and this is also one of the issues with their team late game is not only does Meat Playground have the damage, but they don't really have the same return. So even though Ari can kill Gragas 100 to nothing, Gragas can't really repay the favor unless he really catches Ari out, because Ari should have the mobility to get out of there. Then you look at Jace. Jace is incredibly strong at this point. He has a lot of damage to his name. He's very tanky, but they can kite Jace very easily, actually. And that's what happened in the previous fight. He still had his GA up. He still had all of his HP up, but they were able to kite him because Jace, he has one gap closer, essentially. He actually has 2 gap closers, but it's just not enough to keep up with Ezreal and Ari. So if he tries to dive onto them and prevent them from dealing damage, they're going to be able to dash out of there and be okay. Gragas actually throws the ultimate over the wall, almost picking up Pobelter almost instantly, and Skarner gets the pull back onto Aurelia to try and force this fight.
He gets the pull, but just not the pull back. He pulled Aurelia like a total of like 3 centimeters. Just really
Aurelia,
nothing.
X-Hazard actually threw off the stun as he got the pull targeted.
Nice timing.
Really nice timing.
So, and that's the thing too with Jace, is that you saw in his last few fights, they just ignore. He got the Trinity, He had all that upward damage, but as soon as the Guardian Angel was bought, he started going straight defensive. Randuin's Omen into Hex Drinker. He hasn't really caught up on the damage output that a Jace would normally have at this point in the game, because they're realizing Skarner, he's getting into the middle of these fights and he's going to be melting immediately. They need a secondary tank, and they need Jace to fulfill that role. But with that GA, basically what that's telling me Playground is, hey, he's got a Guardian Angel. Let's ignore him. And he can't really do much.
I was scared for a second that Pobelter might get caught by a barrel over the wall, because he is pretty low, so that's a dangerous situation for him. But they're just slowly wearing down this turret. They're taking advantage of that Baron regen. It's actually down, so the Baron has gone down. And unrestricted as a result, they won't quite have to face the same poke pressure underneath the turret. Meet Playground, they can't stick around forever, so they back off. They recognize very quickly they would get worn down.
The 48-minute mark is when Baron should be, it's going to be around that time when Baron is going to be coming back up. So unrestricted right now, they can start preparing. They can start getting some reward coverage, and with their good defense, managed to also not lose an inhibitor on that last huge push. So good on them. Good on them for actually keeping all of their objectives alive, and they can actually still pressure an objective like Baron without having too much of a worry going on at home. But it's still a bad situation. They're still down just a little bit after that series, but you look at you look at the front line of Meat Playground, which is pretty much Aurelia, with a Guardian Angel, another Chain Vest, and a Warmogs. That's just a lot to get past if you want to get to the creamy nougat center of Meat Playground.
Yeah, he's incredibly tanky at this point, so he can pressure that backline, he can put some pressure onto Corki, and they can't get the follow-up. The ward over the wall, Locust, he does have vision of him. If he can get the hook, he doesn't quite grab someone. And I think, he doesn't really want to go for Skarner. The rest of his team, they're not quite grouped up, so they're waiting for them all to group up and get that perfect engage.
NK Inc. right out in front with the saplings, just getting a little bit of vision, knowing that they have forced them back. They have gotten the fear into unrestricted. They force them all the way back to their tier 3 here in top, waiting for the minion waves, and Ari with the orb looking to just soften up all the minions, looking clear out in. They got Zachary with the flash and no follow-up, no hook over the wall for Blitz, and a frantic retreat there. That is a down flash for Skarner with no returns, no nothing, did not get the impale that he wanted.
Just not quite in range, and they're able to kite him very easily, so they are safe. They will back off, and we'll see how they continue to pressure him. The GAs should all be up for unrestricted. They are all up, so they are all very safe in this next fight, and we'll see how they can kind of pressure him. Ari's pushing mid. Ezreal, he can clear out that minion wave bot. So again, just keeping all the lanes pushed so they don't quite have to worry about any return pressure for unrestricted. As a result of keeping the lanes pushed, unrestricted really needs to win 2 fights in a row, 2 aces, in order to get any damage on their turrets. So Meat Playground is in a pretty safe situation.
Baron should actually be respawning at any moment now. So you do have great ward coverage in the area by Meat Playground, but unrestricted, they have a lot to catch up on, and no wards in anyone's inventory. You do have the oracles onto North Champ, but the Baron has respawned. They just want to clear out the vision. They're saying they don't need anything to try and take out this Baron. They do have quite a bit of damage. It got down to about a third, but the sapling in the middle of the pit does give the vision to Meat Playground and lets unrestricted know, hey, they're not too far behind. You may want a GTFO, and indeed they did.
Yeah, kind of baited out there too, because they didn't, or baited to leave, or bluffed to leave, I guess. Because Ari and Ezreal actually weren't close enough to fight, so unrestricted, if they had been able to force a fight, it might have been in their favor. They might have, with the damage that Jace has been able, they might have been able to burst someone down very quickly, and then turn that around, turn that into a 5v4, make that a 1 fight for them. But they didn't have vision of Meat Playground, so kind of a bluff from Maokai, and they were very safe. Zachary trying to engage on the Pobelter though, he should have enough time to get over there, throws off his ultimate, so the ultimate is forced from Ari. That'll leave him incredibly weak for the next fight. And
not to mention take out a bunch of Ari's burst damage as well. So if she's going to try and 100, I don't think without the ult, the Pobelter's going to be able to 100 to 0 anyone. So right now, Unrestricted can write that off as a nice little mini win for them. You got the speed up coming in from Jace. You got the Shirelias being popped as well. You see Meat Playground completely unknowing. Locust Blitzcrank in the back of the line does get pulled, and he's going down very quickly. You got Jace out on the outskirts of the fight, will be revived with the GA, but Maokai will actually go down. Dude, Asian back in the fight, looking for one slam, does go right back down. Zacru melts right in the middle of that bush. Unrestricted, trying to get the kill. Pobelter does use his Zonias, but the barrel will just be a hair too late. And yet this is still a one fight for Me Playground.
Yeah, really nice play for Me Playground to turn that around.
Yeah.
The Zonias with the immediate flash afterwards for Pobelter to keep himself alive. But even though Blitzcrank was almost taken down, his mana shield was able to keep him alive, and they just didn't quite have enough damage to burst him down. He was able to get out of there. And then Me Playground was able to just kite them very easily. Asian was caught out of position, Skarner as well, and they were able to pick them up.
Yeah.
So we'll actually go take a look back at that fight and you know, some of the things that Me Playground was able to do.
It was such a strange engage too, because you got all people, they're waiting, they're still expecting Unrestricted to actually be somewhere within the river. Everyone's on their lunch break. Locust realizes, oh crap, that's a Skarner. But look at the mana shield that's actually going to pop up on Blitz in just a moment too. It's going to keep him really nice and healthy. But Asian, once again though, he's split from the rest of the team. He's not really contributing a whole lot to the fight. Actually, Lopez did, I don't even think the mana shield actually even went up for Blitz. Okay, there he goes. Never mind.
Yeah, and NK Inc. was basically a god in that fight.
Yeah.
Because, and that's happened for a number of fights in a row now. Maokai has been just diving straight at the enemy team, and he's just so tanky, they can't deal with him. Like Maokai was able to zone off 4 members of Unrestricted in that last fight, and that's a big reason why they were able to win, because Maokai, he ran in with his ultimate and then also the passive procs. He was just too tanky for them to take down. And so as a result, the rest of the team, they could retreat, they could slowly wear down Jace, they could, you know, slowly win that fight.
Yeah, granted, Jace was also doing the same at the same time, but the thing is though, when you have someone with the GA, you're hoping that the rest of your team can actually follow up and get the rest of the damage and get the kills and make a benefit of you returning. But that is the big worry about buying Guardian Angels, that where you can't really place where you're going to revive. You revive where you died, and it's not going to always be the best position in the world, and then oftentimes you will get surrounded and just die again immediately.
Yeah, next Hazard, oh, nope, he's going to back off. So actually, yeah, grabbing the Dragon, you know, they have vision over at the Barons. They are pretty safe right now, just increasing their gold lead. You know, will help Locust hit level 18. He's pretty close. But having that Zeke's Herald, having those auras is incredibly strong at this point. There is no Zeke's Herald for Unrestricted, so that's a nice little advantage for them. Both teams have the Frozen Heart, and then neither team actually has the Abyssal. No, Gragas does have the Abyssal, so no, both teams have the Abyssal. So Maokai has the Abyssal as well. So all of these aura items, you know, definitely contribute immensely to the team. But Ezreal is bottom, and Aurelia was back in base, and it seems that Unrestricted, they're going to be able to take this Dragon or Baron very, very quickly.
Ezreal coming on with the ult, trying to get a little bit of damage, and Pobelter actually really quickly taking out the Gragas outside the pit, and Unrestricted just backs off.
Yeah, Pobelter doing a really nice job, able to catch him out of position, almost going down himself, and they are able to zone them off. I'll go back a couple of seconds now since there's time, but I mean, that's just the really nice, you know, split-second reaction timing, and Easy was almost able to turn it around. The Charm did not hit. Easy was able to get that body slam out, and then throwing off the ultimate, both of them using their death fires, but Pobelter just barely able to take advantage of that there. Jeez. And they were able to zone them off with the Baron as a result, because now instead of an advantage for Unrestricted that they could, you know, maybe win that fight, they didn't have the opportunity, but actually Skarner will get the pullback on the Maokai. Maokai once again is just way too tanky. He gets the flash over the wall, the Stone ultimate, but Jace is going to go down. X-Hazard now chasing down Norse Champ. Locust is here as well. The flash over the wall from Ezreal with that arcane shift. The hook does not hit, but with the slow from X-Hazard, they will be able to pick up Sona. No, just barely getting out of there. Valiant low as well, and they will retreat.
Everybody except for X-Hazard, if you had your flash up, you used it in that last fight. And wonderful follow-through coming from Me Playground, knowing that, hey, your burster isn't here, you do not have your Gragas, you do not have all that damage. We can actually make a huge play off of this. And with that, though, you do have Baron. It is still up. The damage is here. Me Playground should be able to take this one once again. And we'll see if they can do something a little more substantial this time around with it. You got the ult being popped in for Pobelter, and you got the nice grab. Zacru will go down very quick. Shirelias, we'll see if it's actually going to be able to help Unrestricted even get out of the situation. Easy, though, with a nice barrel, almost getting the kill on the Locust, but unfortunately is just a little, about 50 health still to go on that robot.
Yeah, just not quite enough, but the Valkyrie in from Valiant, he's trying to chase them down. He does get the slow onto NK Inc. They're able to pick up that kill. So that does help stall them actually a little bit. So for the next 70 seconds, Meat Playground, they're not in the situation to continue the push. That will help Unrestricted hold off the offensive for a little bit. So that's definitely a really nice job on their part.
70-second respawn time. We're at the 54th minute. This is what they say. This is what they call ultra late game. Barrel coming in from Easy, doesn't let Povelter know that he's nearby. DFG's nice. Zonia's coming on in, but will you get out here? Nice ult, but not going to be enough. Jace coming in with that shutdown. I'm sure Dude I'm Asian is very happy about that one, considering those last few team fights he was in.
Yeah, that was definitely a nice job catching Pobelter out of position, but really Pobelter, just throwing. I mean, that's, he was out of position. There was no reason for him to be in the enemy jungle. Easy did a really nice job following up. Pobelter almost got out of there. He threw off the Zonias because his ultimate, it has that kind of, they call it a global cooldown. When you use your ability and it has 0-second cooldown, but there's a short period of time where you have to wait for the cooldown anyway. It's actually, for Ahri, it is like a 1-second cooldown on her ultimate. Yeah. But, so, she tries to use the ultimate, can't quite get the second dash up, throws off the Zonias just as the Gragas ultimate is about to hit her and kill her, but then, does go down the rest of the team. So, there misses out on another, section of the Baron. Baron, it's, they still have a decent amount of time, but they're actually only going to have about a minute left of Baron when Ahri gets up. So, they have a very small window where they can try and do anything, and Gragas and Corki should be able to stall for just that small window.
Yep, and, at the very least, the next Baron will actually come around the 59-minute mark. I can't believe this game has gone for so long. This is game 1. This is game number 1, and this has just been an amazing back-and-forth battle. Gold lead nearly even for the entire match. Now it's a little bit different, but the thing is that when you hit ultra late game, gold lead is just pretty much irrelevant at this point. And somehow Soda still has level 1 boots. It's been going on for so long. How have you not upgraded those things?
She needs the other items a little bit more. It's
she didn't even have wards.
That's why. Well, yeah, she's had wards for quite some time. Maybe she could have bought a little bit more, but a lot of times you will see that from the support keeping with those level 1 boots. Because does she want the Aegis? Hell yeah, she wants the Aegis. Does she want the Shirelias? Now going for the Zeke's Herald as well. Those are all very strong items. Once Sona's in the middle of a fight, she already has a lot of mobility, so she doesn't really need the boots. And if she's the one in the front line, then they've already messed up anyway. Like no boots will ever help Sona if she's in the front line of the team.
You do have the push coming in from Meat Playground. While they still have the remnants of the Baron buff, they got it less than a minute on it. I think actually more like 30 seconds. And they should be able to hopefully pressure something out here, but they got to kill a little bit more time for the minion wave to come on in. They're going to get one good push on mid-tier 3 with this minion wave, then the Baron buff will be gone. So they need to make this count. They need to get some damage and hopefully take this thing down. Here comes Pobelter with the orb. Hopefully they clear that wave. No hooks will be grabbing anyone. You got Zachary. We're trying to get a speed buff and does not pull anyone in. You do not want to be pulling in that Aurelia. This is the last person you want to be bringing under tower, because then that means you're pretty much throwing that fight.
Yeah, but Blitzcrank trying to hit those hooks, and they have an understanding of where he's trying to go, so he doesn't pick it up. Skarter with the flash ultimate onto Ahri, though, pulls him right in the middle of the team. Ahri goes down instantly. This is a great opportunity for unrestricted. Easy, he does use that Zonias to get out of there. Maokai has to back out as well. X-Hazard will pop that GA. Gragas does go down, but this is actually a turnaround for Meat Playground. They're actually going to be able to pick this up. Corki's very low as well if they can pop that GA, and Light Sludge was able to turn it around. So even with the early burst from Unrestricted and being able to pull ahead in that fight, no threat onto Ezreal just allowed him to just slowly wear them down.
Light Sludge going to go ahead with that win. Take out the mid-tier 3, take out the mid-inhib. Baron will be back up at 59.5, and with that, just go with your robot buddy. Look to push down bot lane, because it's actually been pushing back quite immensely. X-Hazard top lane did recall to get a little extra damage, and a dragon might as well grab it, might as well get that extra gold, might as well get that extra money in the wallet. 10k lead now for Meat Playground, but like I said before, at this point in the game, it's really, money is pretty much worthless.
Yeah, just a couple of champs need to finish off their item builds. Ezreal's already finished his. Corki just finished his. Gragas and Pobelter, they're both done with their item builds. So not, really a whole lot, but it will help the supports and the junglers and whatnot. And they can also start getting those auras. So they're going to get those pots, get those nice little glows going.
There we go. Oh, that's nice. There you go.
Nice little rainbow team. But
they're so blinding.
They went up the skadoosh or whatever, and was another moment in the light.
It's good that Ezreal already has that Pulsefire skin, because I mean he needs shades just to look at himself in the mirror at this point. But they're so glowing. They're so glowing at this point.
Yeah, no, they're definitely looking super fly.
Damn right they are.
We'll be able to. You're damn right.
Damn right.
They'll they're going to be very strong in these upcoming fights. Skarner's actually coming around the side. He wants to maybe pressure a fight. No, he's going to sit back. So Gragas coming down as well. And it seems Meat Playground, they're actually going to split down and push the bot lane.
That's the thing, though. Like I've said before, Baron is coming back up in less than a minute. If you see Meat Playground just reassign themselves here to the bot lane to try and take out that inhib, I'm pretty sure Unrestricted may be able to sneak a Baron. They're pushing up mid. They're trying to just push back against the super minions as much as they can in preparation. But you do see Meat Playground, they're committed to this. They want to take out this bot tier 3. They want this inhib. It is a race. Unrestricted, they are not here to defend this. They're taking the side road, though. They're not going in through the base. Jace looking for the initiation down onto the R. He does ult either. Sona ult only getting NK Inc on that one. And everyone's just a little bit split. Skarner will be going down. And Jace does get grabbed. He will be falling back. The revive will not be helping him here. He will die. 2 quick kills from Meat Playground. They should be able to grab the inhibitor off this.
Yeah, and actually Aurelia keeping up at it, trying to pick up Valiant. The hook back on the Gragas with the knockup, and the Zhonya's in the middle of the team, but he's in a dangerous situation. X-Hazard still diving in. Gragas does go down. Light Sludge is pretty low, though, and Corki's able to pick up the kill onto Aurelia, but then they'll turn it around onto him.
Wow.
Both of the GAs are popped. Light Sludge has this a little bit sooner. If they can time it, just barely getting off that arcane shift. Lucas missing the grab there, but with all of the members down, there it is, right in the waning seconds of this hour-long game. Meat Playground is going to be able to pick this up. Light Sludge coming over, the hook does not hit, but Norse Champ will go down, and Meat Playground takes game number 1 against Unrestricted.
60 minutes, pretty much near to the second. That was just an absolute impressive display from both teams. It was just so even. For the longest time, it got ridiculous. And that's the thing. It's you have 2 teams which are very equal in skill. They just run the match like that. Gold, very even for most of the game. In so many back and forth fights, you had Gragas actually coming back from a disadvantage there in the mid. He ended up farming up really well. X-Hazard got ridiculous. Just could not move that Aurelia at all. Lista just only died 4 times. Just in the gold totals coming on and people breaking the 20K mark. Wonderful, wonderful game. And that was game 1.
Yeah, and
that was game 1.
Neither team was able to really ever get a strong foothold on the game. Neither of them picked up a huge advantage, but it also showed neither team was able to pressure any sort of early advantage they have. They weren't, quite experienced enough where they're able to take those small gold leads, like those 4K gold leads, those 5K gold leads that we saw both of them have, and then push that towards a win, push that towards a victory. So that's kind of, it shows that they still have a long way to go before they will maybe be able to pick up some nice wins in the future. But they have the nice aggression, they have the nice team fights where they could easily beat anyone if they pull up ahead early on in the game.
Team fights that lasted for seemingly like 3-4 minutes at some points. It just got a little silly. It got ridiculous, but it was very entertaining. We're going to go to a quick commercial, and we will be back in just a little bit. IPL5 qualifier number 3 for the NA. Meat Playground and Unrestricted. Hopefully not an hour-long game 2 coming up next.